This machine has a great feature called stitch elongation. But what does that mean, and how does that differ from stitch length? Here I have a scallop stitch that was stitched on the default setting at 1 times elongation. And here we have it at 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, and 5 times. How this differs from stitch length is that even though the stitch gets longer, we still maintain the density of the stitch. Here's an example where I just changed the stitch length, and you'll notice that the stitches get further apart. So we're going to focus on how to do stitch elongation. On your lid, you will see that some of your stitches have an icon that shows ×2 or ×5. And there's also a little legend to the side that shows that your continuous stitches, certain ones have the ×2, which means they'll elongate up to 2 times, and some of your programmable stitches can elongate up to 5 times. Let's try sewing out that scallop stitch. To select the scallop stitch, press that ABC button that selects your programmable stitches, and I see that it's number 1, so I'm going to select that. Now I'm going to press the Edit button, and I see these icons. This one is for elongation, and it's already on ×1, so let's stitch it out. Stop sewing at the end of your fabric and trim the thread using the auto thread trimmer. Now I want to elongate it by 2. So I'm going to press my Edit button again, and I'm going to press this elongation icon so that I see ×2. And then I'm going to stitch again. Stop sewing at the end of the fabric and trim the thread. Now let's sew it by 3 elongation. So press the Edit button, press the button that corresponds with the icon so it says ×3, and begin sewing again. Stop sewing at the end of your fabric and trim your thread. Now let's do it ×4. So press the Edit button, press the button for elongation so it says ×4, and stitch again. Stop sewing at the end of your fabric and trim your thread. Okay, one more time now. Let's do some elongation. Press the Edit button and press the button so it says elongation ×5, and stitch it out. Stop sewing at the end of the fabric and trim the thread. And here we have stitch elongation. Now let's check out mirror imaging. Another great feature on this machine is mirror imaging. On your lid, at your legend, you'll see that there are some stitches that can do side-to-side mirroring, front and back mirroring, or can do side-to-side and front-to-back. I'm going to do stitch number 22, which does the side-to-side and front-to-back. So I'm going to select the mode icon that looks like a straight stitch in a zigzag and scroll over to 22. Select it, and right here I see a box that looks like a cross with a triangle in the corner. I'm going to stitch out the way it is right now. Stop sewing at the end of the fabric and trim the thread. Now I'm going to press the button for this icon to show side-to-side mirror imaging. And I'm going to sew again to see what it looks like. Stop sewing at the end and trim your thread. I'm going to come back and push that button again to show front and back mirror imaging. Stop sewing at the end of the fabric and trim the thread. And one more time now, I'm going to press that mirror imaging button, and I see that it's mirrored to the side and mirrored forward back. So I'm going to stitch that one out. And here's what stitch number 22 looks like mirror imaged. Now let's check out buttonholes.